Hey, how's it going everyone? Dylan here. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different type of video. This week it's crazy to think this, but I actually uploaded my 500th video to YouTube. I'm actually up to 504 as of just before this video, so probably 505 is this one. Anyway, numbers aside, that's pretty crazy, and I thought that I may as well do this kind of video to kind of go through my YouTube journey since I've been on YouTube for so very long. I want to say thank you very much. We are heading really fast to hitting 1,000 subscribers. We're about 70 odd away, and I'm so amazed at the support that everyone's giving me, and that's why I really wanted to do this video, to show you how I've progressed and how I got here basically, and stuff you might not know about the channel, how it was back then, because a bunch of the videos are listed as private these days. So first things first, my kind of YouTube journey, it not only includes the types of videos that I've done, but also different areas of my life, really. It covers a huge chunk of my life. I'm 26 years old, and I've been doing YouTube for 11 years. So that's a pretty big chunk, if you think about it. And you can really see the change in terms of how I look, number one, obviously. My voice, what I'm interested in, the way I present myself. When I started YouTube, the first two videos I uploaded were just kind of test videos on, I was always interested, and still am, in visual effects and 3D and all this. So way back in March and June of 2007, I was hacking away. I taught myself Maya, the 3D application, and was trying to do some cool tests. So the first one I uploaded was a motion tracking test, which was really low quality. I had a $50 video camera from eBay back then, and that my father bought because we thought it was good. It was probably the worst camera I've ever touched, and it was pretty damn bad. But as you can see, this is my first video here, which is just titled Motion Tracking Test. Oddly enough, it has like almost 3,000 views. Now, a lot of these videos I'm talking about are no longer public on my channel, for obvious reasons. Some of them aren't too pretty, they look bad, they don't fit in with the current branding of the channel and things like that. First time I actually kind of appeared on YouTube was in August of 2007, and it was a room tour. So it was in response to someone I used to follow on YouTube a lot, called David DeFranco. You might know him. Does like tech life videos, but back then in YouTube's infancy, everyone was kind of just starting out. No one was really big that I followed, at least. And back then you could do video replies. Do you remember those? And he had done a room tour of his room, so I decided to do a room tour of my room. And obviously this camera was so bad that the exposure, well, combination of that and me being young and not knowing things about cameras, the video is almost pretty much black most of the time, with tiny hints of detail, if you could say even detail at 240p. Yeah, I really can't listen to that for long. But that is the first time I ever appeared on the internet. My face did, at least. This was before I was on Facebook, before I was on basically anything. YouTube was the go-to. When I started YouTube, the reason why I started uploading things to YouTube in the first place was, I was in year 9 at the time. So this was, I only had really 2 or 3 friends at school. I was kind of geeky, nerdy, kind of, the usual. I thought this was a cool way. I was interacting with people on YouTube and a few other people. I was into Macs back then a lot, so I started doing Mac-related videos. I bought a Power Mac G4 off eBay for like $50 or something, and then I decided to do an upgrade. I set it to like AC/DC music, obviously copyright, I think this was even before there was even a copyright strike system. And that's obviously claimed now, and set to private. But I went and upgraded this iMac again with the bad camera. I have this bad camera for a lot of my early videos, obviously. I got a little bit better at using it, which was good. But really I was just making videos that were similar to other people I followed, based on Mac, based on why Mac was better than Windows back then. There was a big thing. Everyone was kind of attacking each other. Which is again why some of my videos most of these are listed private nowadays. I've got I did a video titled Why OS X is Better Than Windows, and it was literally just a video of me minimizing lots of windows in Mac where it animated and squished in. This has been really fun going through these old videos today. After a while, I kind of decided to do a new room tour where you could actually see things, and I started to kind of really talk about some things, and I was interacting with people in comments on my own videos, which was always good. Obviously, this is before Twitter and all that as well, so like this was really the only avenue other than MySpace at the time. Obviously, still very heavily into tech things at this point, and from there I kind of went to I bought another few Macs. I was doing things with Mac OS 1086 where you hack Mac operating system onto Windows PCs. I started doing these update videos, which were basically just kind of vlogs, like in my room, and just talking about what's going on and things related to the tech stuff that I have and what I've been doing on my computer. I even did an update literally about going to an Apple store. So I was really nerdy at this point, and as always, my hair, I don't get enough haircuts. Back then, my hair used to go really curly, so you'd get things like this and this. My voice was still crazy bad.
I usually just leave it downloading in the nighttime, and I'm capped, so it goes even slower.
So I did a bunch of videos on that Mac OS 1086 tutorials on how to do it, and they were kind of successful. They got like a few thousand views nowadays, but like back then it was probably a couple of hundred, but that was really good for me. I was lucky if a video got more than, say, 10 or 20 views at that point. I was doing it almost like every second day for a while. Updates on hard drives that I bought, and issues I was having with some of the applications that I used. So then I kind of fell in love with Linux for a little bit, and still did tech-related videos, but I got a hold of every damn version of Linux known to man. I had so many. Started trying to brand the channel. So I tried to brand the channel. It's a really bad, there was some really bad intros around this time, and I kept switching between them and making them different and all this. And at this point, I started getting a bit more interested in Maya and particle effects simulations, like Particle Illusion, which is an old application that me and a mate used to use a lot. Still, at this point, this is in like October 2007, I did a few videos with one of my mates, James, on installing it on his laptop and all this. Basically just still all... Now even, just take a look at this, because this shows you how, what YouTube kind of looked like in 2007, because a lot of my new followers probably don't even know what it looked like in 2007, let alone 2010 or anything like that as well. But this is what it looked like, what your channel page used to look like. It was crazy. That was my mate Jimmy's YouTube page. I started buying some vintage Macs as well, Quadras from the early 90s, just to play around with and do some videos on. Then when we got around to the end of 2007, for Christmas, my parents decided to gift me a new computer. So I upped the frequency I could do my videos and what I could do them on. So this was kind of like a turning point in terms of the channel, in terms of low quality content. Even though it was with the same camera, I could process it better and output it a lot faster. So yeah, that started to really open the door for me for making content, and I was still making content, multiple times a month, 3 or 4 times, usually once a week at least. And then we hit 2008. I bought my first gaming console in a while, the Xbox 360. Dedicated a few videos to that, definitely. Now, during this time, basically around April 2008, as you can see from my PowerMac G4 video right now on the screen, is I kind of had a major problem with my back. As you can see, it's kind of pointed. So I actually had to have major back surgery, and in May I put this up, and you can kind of tell, if you listen to my voice, that I actually, at this point, was quite soon after the operation, and I couldn't actually sit up or stand up for very long, especially if I was talking.
2 weeks ago I had major back surgery on the back, because one of my vertebrae were fused, and it only grew on one side, the outside of it, so it bent my spinal cord and my spine. So they straightened it out. They cut a wedge out of the fused vertebrae and glued them together. Glued the remaining bits of it together and put 2 metal rods and 8 screws in my back.
I'd get quite out of breath, and I'd just need to lay down for like 90% of the day, really. It was pretty major surgery, 9 hours worth I've got 2 metal bars and rods still in there, in my back. So that was a big thing. I kind of started to try and interact a bit more with the community. I did a tech survey that everyone was doing. It was all the rage in 2008, tech surveys, which is kind of like your kind of tag videos, I guess, these days. Now, I really started to get like kind of more views at this stage, especially for some of my videos. I had a habit of kind of getting 1 or 2 videos that would do all right, then all the rest would get like 10 views for a while there. I did a review of my mouse, of all things, my Logitech mouse. It's probably my like 4th highest viewed video of all time at the moment, and it was really basic, but it just was popular, I guess. I was the only person who reviewed that particular mouse on YouTube at the time. Did well for the first time, which is why I'm trying to get a little bit into more tech stuff these days as well, like 1 or 2 every now and again. I also started trying to film random things that weren't tech related, like a freak storm, for example, which didn't really come out very well, but started to film things that were happening. A koala dropped in at one point. At this point, I really started to get interested in visual effects. So me and my mate Nathan, who I've known for a very long time, we started getting interested in like these basic applications, and then like learning and looking at visual effects and rendering and things like this. So we started, this is technically the first visual effects shot that I ever worked on that I can find. There's ones before, but they are lost on floppy disks or really bad looking CDs years and years ago, probably somewhere, all scratched up. Obviously kept up doing my updates every now and again, which were just like vlogs. And then when it came to late 2009, so in year 11, finally got a new camera. And this was where it really kind of was the beginning of it all, like the modern part of my channel, because before that it was all very low quality or screen recordings. So you never really saw anything, and when I was doing the live action stuff, it looked really bad, like quite really bad, low quality and just terrible. So I got a camera, and the first video I uploaded was obviously titled, I can upload in HD now. And I kind of just started to film a lot of different things all the time. I didn't upload everything, but I have a huge amount of unused footage from at school. I just used to film almost everything, really, and like you probably couldn't get away with that these days. So I did a few stuff related to the video on the Canon 500D. That was the one. It could do 720p video at 30 frames per second. So that was some good fun. Then I started also getting into photography at that point as well, because it's a hybrid camera. It's an SLR. Started doing time lapses, which were pretty cool. Roll around to the start of 2010, which was my senior year in high school, year 12. I did a New Year desk tour, obviously, because what else would you do on New Year's? To show off stuff you got for Christmas as a teenager, and showed around a bunch of things. But this is when I also started to do some proper filming. So some filmmaking, I guess you could say. Some shorts with my mate Nathan, again, the guy who's interested in visual effects. We tried to incorporate them in as much as we could, but the first few we did that we actually uploaded were related to like quick cuts, kind of like Edgar Wright uses in Shaun of the Dead. I think that's what we'd seen around that point of time. We did a video called 1 Minute Sandwich and Breakfast in 1:30 Flat, which were quick cuts, quick cut movies. So they were really fast and kind of cool little shots. Obviously not super good. At this point I started to invest in more camera gear as well, so I got a fisheye lens, like an adapter back then, not an actual lens, and kind of focused a little bit more on kind of these fun little edits and shorts for a little bit. When we used to go camping, so I obviously brought the camera and did a bunch of filming there, just of random stuff, mostly drinking, to be honest. Then in 2010 there was this thing called Life in a Day, which was a concept movie where they got everyone to film on the same day parts of your life, and then they would edit it in and you had to submit it and stuff. I didn't get in, but I did do a submission. We went out to the city with a couple of friends and I filmed basically the whole thing and uploaded it into 2 parts, because back then you couldn't do a video longer than 10 minutes on YouTube. And we really started to ramp up the shorts at this point. So we were really into kind of combining the visual effects in here, like doing explosions. And obviously we were guys in high school, so explosions and guns and and like pretend handguns and all this stuff. For media studies that me and Nathan and I took in senior year, we kind of decided to do a music video based on a game developer's video called HTFU, which is Harden the Up.
Harden the fuck up! First off, let me make a short introduction. I'm the Space 5-0, keeping it from destruction. Guard is the name, lead master of the game, top dog in the Game Master Hall of Fame.
We decided to do like a cover of this and do a new music video for it, which was quite successful. The whole band came and commented on the video, and it was really cool. We actually got us an A without doing any written work whatsoever, and I'm still kind of proud of it. Like, it's a fun thing. It's obviously old now. 2010 September it was made, so that was always really fun. We incorporated some visual effects into it. I went and used my 500D, where everyone else in the class was using old DV cameras, so the quality difference was really big. Eventually, I started doing a little bit of tutorials on visual effects, which were quite popular and still are quite popular, oddly enough, even though very out of date by now. I did like point tracking related stuff and combining two footages together. We did a few little more VFX based shorts. And in December 2010, I kind of did probably my most popular review video technically, which was on a Canon lens, and it's got like 90,000 views now. And it was just a random video. I did a review of a lens that I bought because I purchased some new gear for my camera, and I did it, and it just kind of exploded. Probably the closest that myself and my mates got to making a proper short would have been something called the Ambush, which we kind of, instead of, like, usually for our short films we used to go out, like we'd catch up on a day and then we'd just randomly film something with no planning whatsoever. The Ambush, kind of, we expanded on a few of those ideas and just filmed it over 2 days at our local park, and it was obviously much more meaty than a lot of the other shorts we'd done. Still lots of problems with it. So that was a really fun experience, and kind of reaffirmed the fact that at that point in my life I really wanted to become a filmmaker. I started to get a little bit frustrated with kind of having to plan all these meetups. That's the one thing. I always wanted to be a filmmaker. I still do. But I get really frustrated kind of organising people to be in the same place at the same time. And that's why it kind of dropped off a little bit. And like why I don't really do it recently, especially now, because we're all older and really we've all got jobs. We all do things. Like some of us have got families, like myself, for example. So I went to lots of parties, lots of shots and drinks. We still managed to fit in a few different shorts. We did a little Space Invaders skit, which didn't turn out how I wanted it to, and a Creepers parody from around when Minecraft was just starting to get popular. Probably the last proper short we did was called The Mugging, with my friend Kim as well as Nathan, and it kind of encompasses the kind of advancement of camera skills, I guess, at that time compared to before. We kind of did a lot more like kind of smooth tracking, and like we made our own Steadicam out of pipes, for example. We're kind of just making our own stuff up based on tutorials online, and kind of quick cutting to make punches look kind of a little bit more real, and if they're contacting and they're faster than they are, and stuff like that. Like, obviously this didn't really pan out the way we wanted it to fully, but it turned out a lot better and a lot more kind of professional looking than a lot of our earlier projects. At this point, I lost my job because the people I work for, who I won't name in this video because I came to a fair work agreement with them. Luckily, I got a job doing the posters for one of the clubs that I frequent. So I kind of got some money, well, not money, they paid me in drinks, so it's not really like, but back then that was like the dream job, to be paid with drinks at where you go clubbing. So it was a win-win situation back then. So as a result of that, I did a couple of time lapses showing me creating these posters. All in all, I think I did about half a year worth of posters. So there's like 2 nights every week for half a year. It was pretty good, pretty fun. Right up until I stopped going clubbing, I was pretty much still doing it. Then the actual last one we did was called The Box, which has this really long tracking shot in it, which is just a basic real concept that we decided to do one day. And I really like the tracking shot because it's really long, and I really love oneers. So that one turned out really nice. The shot itself is not that good. It also was the first time where we implemented like proper 3D effects for the first time. It's not very detailed, but it worked. It was the right resolution, it composited well and all this. So I was pretty proud of that at that point. But anyway, after that, I kind of focused on the 3D and gaming side of the channel. So there was hardly any shorts after this for a little bit. I did a bunch of time lapses on 3D work, like robots I was modeling, a bunch of gameplay, like Battlefield 3 came out around then, tutorials on doing shadows in VFX and stuff like that, basically. After a while, though, I made what would become my absolute most viewed video, which is kind of embarrassing, really. It's called Every Lens Flare in Star Trek, and I just decided one day, after 2009 Star Trek came out, I was like, well, I wonder how many lens flares are actually in there. So I literally ripped the Blu-ray and counted physically every single lens flare. I think it took me like a whole night or something like that. Counted every one, recorded a video, and counted, like, actually tallied it all up and uploaded it. And now, to this day, it has 300,000 views and regularly gets circulated on random websites, and I've been a spurt of views. And then we come to, after, like, I really didn't upload many videos for a while, so I uploaded a few time lapses, 3D stuff, and Let's Plays. And then I did one vlog in all of 2013, so I hadn't really appeared on camera for quite a while at this point, but I did anyway, and as you can see, obviously I'd aged by then. I did a few more montages, and then that's when I became really interested in game development, so that we've hit the game development period of my life. So even up to like kind of the end of 2015, all I was uploading is basically Unreal Engine videos related to caffeine and tests that I did. I was working on this game for night after night, all the time, and I really wanted to release it at a similar time to 3 of my mates from the same state who were releasing games as well online. And around the start of 2016, I put up my first video in a while with me actually physically on the screen, because I kind of lost my kind of following on YouTube. I didn't really want to do much stuff at that point. I was just focused on the game dev stuff, like 100%. My wife got pregnant and we were expecting our first child. So that was really fun and a big change. So obviously lead up, I was still working on the game. I got the game out at the end of the previous year. It had some success over Christmas and some sales, and once my daughter was born, obviously I hadn't really uploaded many videos. I basically just uploaded a modeling time-lapse and a game video in between then and and November 2016, when I started to try and do a little bit of vlog. I did a few vlogs here and there of me and our new daughter, Alex. Spelled ALYX, after Alex Vance in Half-Life 2, obviously. Then when we come to February 11, 2017, I uploaded my very first movie/TV related video, which was a review of The Expanse, Season 2, Episode 3. This is the start of the modern version of my channel, basically. And I really kind of, I just started doing it because I'd started buying Blu-rays every week almost. So I was like, oh, I want to do Blu-ray hauls and Blu-ray collection stuff, and I got really into movies. So I started putting these videos up and getting some response while I was working at The Good Guys here in South Australia. And I basically started doing a bunch of videos. My first official review would have been 999, and from there I kind of went on. I kind of started doing other reviews of Blu-rays that I'd purchased, and then I started doing reviews of films I went to see in the cinema eventually. So Cure for Wellness, for example, I went and saw that and did a big review. Same with Logan, and then a bunch of kind of other things. Life, I had a really good run there, and then kind of tape it off a bit because of money. I changed jobs to my current job at Pro AV, which is kind of like a lot more demanding and further away, so it takes me longer to get home. And I've just kind of, it's taken me this while to try and get things back in the swing and get to where I am today. I feel like that I'm a lot more confident these days on video, and I really want to interact with people more. Obviously, I only just started recently doing collaborations with actual people on YouTube. Don't know why, I've never done that before. Like, there are many ways, obviously, I do wish that I started doing the movie related part of the channel earlier, because it's really kind of, I feel like I've made my calling, I've found my calling as such, because I enjoy it so much. Film is one of my massive passions. I still want to make some film related stuff, but this is really fun. I love interacting with people online, and thank you so much in general, because, yeah, thank you for listening through this whole video, because I've been recording for bloody 15 minutes. Obviously, I'm going to edit this down. I'll try and get this out to you this weekend. Hopefully I can. But hopefully it shows kind of how I've grown over the years, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much. I'll probably make this available as a podcast as well, I reckon. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And hit me up in the comments or on Twitter. Always open for a conversation there. Till next time, take very good care. I'll see you then.